Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're talking about one thing leads to another on the cans. So we're talking about overlapping needs on the cans. I'm Tammy Pearson with Marshall University, and I am the TCOM director for the state of West Virginia. One thing leads to another, overlapping needs means that there are symptoms and behaviors that kids display that should fit into more than one category on the cans. So you don't just mark it in one category, that behavior may be seen in several categories. Now, if you've been doing this for a long time, you probably realize that, but if you're new to the cans, you may not realize that behavior can be rated in several different cans items. So the goal of the presentation today, and it's going to be a quick one for maybe 15, 20 minutes, is to get everyone thinking about how cans items are connected. And we want to ensure all cans items are rated, but not just you marked at something on that cans rating form. We want you to be thinking about it. Because what we have seen in the past, and I'm just going to give the example of legal, maybe you've been referred a kid and you've been referred that kid due to from probation, and it's because of truancy. So you mark on legal a 2 for truancy, and then sometimes people never go and mark anything about school attendance. They just kind of go through the form and fill it out. We really want you thinking about that when you rate the items. Going to be giving you some examples and these are just examples of certain areas to watch. They do not cover every item connection, but they're meant again to make you think. So let's start with legal, because that is one of the biggest ones we see as being a problem. Legal should overlap with at least one thing. So let's say the child has a legal issue, they've been referred by probation, and it's because they did an armed robbery at a bank. So if they did that, you're probably going to have something in delinquency. So you probably should have a 2 or 3 in delinquency. Maybe oppositional behavior, conduct disorder, danger to others, because if they used a gun, then that is a danger to others. So you have to be thinking about what is the legal issue. Everyone should put in their justifications what the legal issue is. Cannot just say the kid's on probation. Well, what are they on probation for? And that helps us to understand what other items may overlap with legal. We talked about school attendance. If the legal issue is truancy, then you definitely want to see something in school attendance, maybe in school behavior also. One thing that's really important to look at is number 20, which is family, and number 30, which is family. Number 20 is the strength, is in the strength section, and number 30, family, is in the life domains. So what you're looking at here, if legally the problem is incorrigibility, then when you're rating that family, that strength item, think about that incorrigibility issue. So for number 20, when you're looking at the strength, it's defining is there a support and strength to this child in the family. So really think about, sometimes we see that incorrigibility has been marked is the reason for legal, but oh, the family's doing great. Well, are they really doing great? If you're having these incorrigibility problems. The same with family and the item number 30, which is how's this family functioning? Do they function well together? Well, if there's incorrigibility, they don't function well together. So be thinking about that. One comment about bullying. Sometimes people don't really read that item. Bullying doesn't have to do if the kid's being bullied, is if that kid is a bully. So, and legal, you may see some issues there. You may need to mark that also if the kid is the one who's been abusive in the school. So with legal, it should overlap with at least one of those following items. Those following items though may not be rated at a 2 or 3, but you might have them at a 1. Trauma stress symptoms. So the trauma stress symptoms in the cans are really PTSD criteria. If you look at your DSM, they are the actual criteria for PTSD. So you cannot have something listed in those trauma stress symptoms if you don't have a trauma experience or traumatic grief. So occasionally we see things that end up there because people confuse hyperarousal or dissociation with some ADHD symptoms. So always think about that. If you're putting something in those trauma stress symptoms, has this kid actually had trauma? If they haven't, then what you may be seeing are ADHD symptoms. Now, you may not know because sometimes it's kind of confusing. Is this kid experiencing ADHD, or heck, they've got all this trauma? Maybe it's that. Then you can kind of rate things at a low level, maybe a 1, because you're exploring. You're looking to see which one it may actually be. Could be both. So with your trauma symptoms, just pay attention and make sure you have a traumatic experience. Anger control. Now, so many of our kids that are going into residential, wraparound have had problems with anger control. And probably that you're going to have another item that's marked because of those anger control problems. Again, the family items, number 20, which is family strengths, and then number 30, which is just family. The living situation. Has that anger problem led to this child being removed from the home? Has there been aggression? Social functioning. Does this child consistently have problems interacting with others or building and maintaining relationships due to their anger control? Legal, we've already talked about that. School behaviors. Why is this kid expelled? Were they expelled because of anger control problems? Impulsivity, oppositional conduct, danger to others. Has this kid's anger control been so poor that they're now a danger to others? The bullying, again, is this happening at school? And has this anger control led to delinquency? So you more than likely are going to see if anger control is an item that you're marking a 2 or 3, that you should also have that overlapping with another need. I want to spend a little time on strengths because here's where we see a lot of discrepancy. A lot of times people are rating the strengths without thinking about the entire cans. And you have to think about what's going on with the entire cans. So if you look at families, let's go back to that one that we keep going to. What is the rating on your number 30 for the family? How well are they functioning together? Is there an incorrigibility charge? I don't know how many times we've seen kids that have been removed from the home. The family says, I'm done with them. But everybody rates the family. Oh yeah, they're great. Well, something's not quite right there. You've got some family problems, and is it really a strength? Sometimes it might be a strength. You do have someone who's supportive, but you really want to make sure you're looking at that to make sure it is falling in lines with your other CANS item. Your strengths related to interpersonal. So interpersonal relates to how this child is relating to both adults and their peers. So again, you want to look at social functioning, the need for social functioning. So then, the social functioning has to do with, has the child does the child have problems with interaction or building and maintaining relationships? So those should work together and should be consistent. Just a reminder about educational setting. This has to do with the setting. So you're rating the school here. You're not rating the child. But if that child has a problem on school attendance, behavior, or achievement, then is the school doing anything? So make sure you pay attention to, if you have something on school attendance, behavior, or achievement, you should have a rating and educational setting that matches that. Is the school really doing anything, or have they kicked the kid out? Optimism. We all want to think that the kids are optimistic about their future, But if you have a kid who's just attempted suicide, then they're not very optimistic. So you need to be really paying attention to your ratings on suicide risk, non-suicidal self-injury, other self-harm, and depression. If you have ratings are 2 or 3 there, is this child really optimistic? So a lot of times people will mark, yes, optimistic, they have a great outlook on the future. Probably not if you're rating a 2 or 3 on one of these other items. For community life is the level of involvement of the child in the community. Now, this could be anywhere from just meeting with neighbors to going to church, to going to the YMCA. When you're looking at this one, think about your natural supports. So if you're indicating the kid does not have any natural supports, but you're coming back and you're saying, oh, this kid has a great community life, they go to church all the time, then maybe there are some natural supports there that the kid does have. So this is kind of going two ways. So if you're rating the community life as high, you need to look at the natural supports and see if you can rate that as not being a problem. Relationship permanence. So relationship permanence is referring to the stability of significant relationship in the child's life. And this would include family members, but it also can include others. So you're looking at a lot of different things here to rate this. You want to look again at the family ratings on number 20 and 30. You want to think about social functioning. You want to think about interpersonal, and you want to think about natural supports. So all those have to go together for you to rate the items correctly. Sleep. I don't know, when I can't sleep, yeah, it's due to a reason. It's due to stress or anxiety or, getting ready to travel. There's some reason that I can't sleep. And you always want to think about that when you're rating sleep for a child. So if the child can't sleep well, what do we know is occurring that may be affecting that sleep? Is it adjustment to trauma? Are they having nightmares? Are they re-experiencing something they've gone through? Are they having depression, anxiety? And those are just a few. There's a lot of reasons that a child may not be sleeping well. But if you're rating sleep at a 2 or 3, think about what the reason might be for that sleep problem. So that's it. We're just going to do a quick summary here. Think about connections and overlap. And remember, a behavior issue can be represented in more than one CANS need or strength. This presentation does not cover everything. Again, it's just getting you to think.